platform tips and best practices. Ashley, you want to take this one? Because I know you've been getting a lot of questions.
Yeah, so there's tons of things we can do here, and I'm really excited about this new feature because there's so many different facets you can use in the platform that sometimes we don't know that they're all there or aren't sure how we can incorporate them. So this gives us an opportunity to chat through it. And definitely a lot of coaches have had some questions about the goals feature. So want to walk through some best practices on the platform for that. But I think it might be helpful just to kind of pause because there's two different types of goals in the platform. We have long-term goals and short-term goals, right? And I think there sometimes is a little bit of confusion about, what those are. So long-term goals are going to be the ones that take weeks or months or even years to accomplish, right? They're these really big, really broad goals. And think things like lower your stress, lower A1C if you're working with someone who has diabetes and would like to do that, or maybe someone wants to run a marathon, right? These are not things that are going to happen this week. These are very long-term goals and they go with the program. So it's the whole reason they want to work with you as a health coach. So that's going to go in the main goal, that long-term goal. So you can put those in. And then we have short-term goals. So short-term goals are what we're all familiar with, those SMART goals. They're the weekly goals, maybe bi-weekly goals that you're going to set to get to that long-term goal, right? So for that client that may want to run a marathon, maybe that's, I'm going to run 30 minutes 4 times this week. Or maybe for the client that wants to lower the A1C, that's, I'm going to include a green vegetable at a meal every day, right? They're these small incremental steps that are going to move them towards that long goal. So I think it's really important to distinguish the two different types because they serve two different purposes. And we do have the option to use both of those, which is really cool. So you'll see here on this lovely screen, you can set them for both groups and individuals, which is really cool because you can have group goals in addition to just having individual goals. And you can do it on your phone. We have the app, right? We also have the web version, so you can access it on both. And if you toggle over to the goals tab, you'll see it's highlighted here on the screen. It's got the little trophy. When you go there, you can actually see a list of all of your clients' goals. So it's really convenient. You don't have to go and click in each and every program to check on your clients. You can see it all in one space, which if you're juggling multiple clients, this is a huge win and a time saver. So you can come in here, you see all the goals, you can click on them and you'll see here on the web version for right now, you can see where when you click on it, it's going to expand it. And you can see either in a group program, how all of the clients in that group are doing, or it'll expand and show you for an individual client if they're individual program. So this is the really neat thing. It's not just a yes or no on if the goal is completed. You can actually see their progress in real time, which is so important because we can see if, maybe they need a motivation touch. So we see that they've completed 2 out of 5 steps that they've set. Then we can go in and we can send them a message and congratulate them, give them a little bit of motivation, ask them how they're feeling with it. Those little touch points make a huge difference with our client. We're not just there for the scheduled check-in, however often that cadence is. I feel like I just have so much to say about this, and I feel like, Marina, you got something to add there too.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that a touch point from a real person is huge, right? Because we've all used apps, right? And we all know when it's coming from a bot, when it's a congratulations. Meanwhile, you haven't seen this goal in like 2 months, right? And it's like, oh, congratulations.
Exactly.
I see you back and you've completed. So that real person, that real connection who is there for you, who's there for that sense of accountability, it means absolutely everything. And as data and lots of research shows, it does make a huge difference.
It does. Yep. And so actually, if we flip to the next screen, we've got it broken out for how to set these up, because this is the important part. We know they're important. We know as health coaches, our clients need to set goals, but how do we do that? So in the platform, if you go into the program, you do have the option to add short-term goals. You can also allow your client to add short-term goals, which is a really neat feature because that gives them the autonomy to add things as you go along and to input their own goals. Some clients really prefer to do that. So that's a really neat option. My personal favorite, I'm all about colors and highlighting and organizing things. And so if you ever saw my notebook, you'll see it's color coordinated. So this option right here to choose your own icon and your own color scheme for the goal just makes me so happy. It's the small things. So you can set that up. And then you can put in the goal name. You can also select the date range for this goal. So when it'll run, if it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly, you can of course set those up. And then you have two different ways that you can set up this goal depending on what it is. So the first is a checklist system. So maybe this is, they're going to run for those 4 days we were talking about for that client that was doing the marathon, right? So we could have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 as a checklist. Or if they set the dates and it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, you can even put those in. Or you can even do it one step further if they're going to organize this week, like they really want to organize their pantry and get things in order, and they have specific steps they want to take to do that. You could even put those specific steps in there. Now, the neat part about this, like we talked about, is clients don't just check off yes at the very end that they did all of those steps. They can check them off one by one. So they'll go in, they can select they did day 1 and then day 2, and you get to see that real-time progress. The other option is measurement. So let's say, for instance, the client that wants to run the marathon, they're starting running this week. They want to run for 2 hours this week, and it's a cumulative time. So they can even put in 2 hours, and as they do a 15-minute run or they do a 30-minute run, they can add those short little increments, and you'll see the bar moving as they're moving towards that 2-hour total. So lots of really neat ways to do that. And then you also see at the bottom, there is the opportunity to put in how satisfied the client is with the goal. And so when they complete that goal and it's all done, they get to rate the satisfaction. You can also put in the rating. Really neat to see. And I think it's such a huge way to understand how satisfied the client was their goal. And it opens up conversation. So it gives you something to broach and ask and tweak things and maybe dig in a little bit deeper. So I know I just shouted a whole lot of things there. Oh, there's one more thing too. And there's always one more thing. I'm like, oh, but wait, there's more, there's more. It's like an infomercial. If you notice we'll see the client's name in their profile picture, that Max Wilson. Right next to that is this nifty little green button that's the chat button. And I love this because you don't have to click around in a bunch of places. And so I can look at the client's goal, I can see where they are with it, and then I can click on that chat button and immediately send them a message. And so it's really seamless to take all of those steps that you need to get in contact with them and start the conversation, because that's what this is all about, right? Is keeping communication lines open with them. So that was a whole lot. I'll pause for a minute now. I'm sure there's things you want to add too.
I mean, I don't know what to add because you do such a fantastic job. And for those of you who don't know, Ashley does tutorial videos on a platform all the time. So there is a goals video that we will be posting, just sharing it once again, so it's fresh in everybody's mind. And just ask us questions. You know, if anybody has any questions as to why the goals feature is there, what are the best practices, how is it used, and also ask in a community chat, talk to fellow coaches, because that's the best way to get the know-how, right?